Hi, Mark Washburn here from PondAlgaeSolutions.com, and this week we want to cover a very common question that we get each and every fall. Now, as we do this video, it is early September here in Iowa, and although the weather is still warm, it won't be long before the leaves will start falling, the temperatures will cool off, and autumn days will be upon us. And a lot of people to the north of us here, and our friends in Canada and places to the north, are already seeing cooler weather. And so we start to get a lot of questions about, well, should I continue to use beneficial bacteria in the fall and in the cooler weather? And the answer to that generally is yes, but there's a few things that we want to add to that whole story. First and foremost, if you have, or you know that you have, some accumulation of organics at the bottom of the pond, or if you know that there will be an addition to an organic load in the pond, such as leaf debris falling, it's a good idea to stay with that, to keep up with that, and the bacteria will continue to help speed up the breakdown of these organics that fall into the pond. So that's a very beneficial thing. As you know, and if you've read much of our information, we tend to use bacteria as part of our regimen to help control unwanted growth throughout the summer in all sizes of ponds. And although it's likely you should see a regression of most aquatic growths, including algae, as you get cooler weather, you still have some considerations with regards to the water quality. The fish can handle cooler weather. They will start to slow down in their feeding and all that, but it's a good idea to continue to use a biological tool to help keep the water cleaner, to help keep ammonia levels down and all that. So that's a very, very worthwhile thing. The other thing that we found is that we will oftentimes use a beneficial bacteria up until ice up in our area, and when we do that, we can often get a very good start in the spring after ice out at keeping algae under control very early in the season. There is some carryover of the bacteria colonization into the spring, which is very, very helpful for us there. Overall, it's just a good idea to continue to use bacteria if your pond needs it, or if it needs supplementation. Now, obviously, if you're going to be shutting your pond down over the winter completely, it's probably best not to use any bacteria at this point, but to consider supplementing in the early spring at every startup. That's a great idea. And so the bacteria that you want to look for is also important. As the temperatures begin to go down, most standard bacteria treatments will not work below 50 to 55 degrees. Most bacteria goes dormant below that, and so you'll want to look for a cold water formula. Now, there are companies out there on the market that have a formula for almost every season, and maybe every season in between that. I mean, they've got something for everything. And for the most part, all of them work similarly. We have the 2500 system for small ponds, and we have the Biosphere Pro for larger ponds, and those contain an all-season formula as well. They work good on bioaugmentation or breaking down the organics, and they will work down to temperatures to 34 degrees Fahrenheit. So they are a cold weather formula, and we'll use them commonly from ice out right up to ice up in some of the more problematic ponds, or the ponds that need consistent treatment. So the key, though, is you want to look for an all-season or a cold weather formula if you're going to try to treat and continue to treat a pond into the fall weather and the cooler temperatures. Beyond that, we will share more information with you on a variety of topics on fall preparation for ponds, and on tools and techniques and things that you can do to help winter your fish over safely and to deal with plants in the winter, those kind of things. We're going to cover a lot of that information in the next few videos, and so we hope that it'll be very timely for you and very useful. But in this first one, we wanted to start out with one of the more common questions we get. We hope that we've answered their questions on beneficial bacteria in cooler weather. It's a very useful tool. But if you have any others, any other questions regarding beneficial bacteria and fall preparation for your pond, go ahead and post those below us here, and we'll try to answer those accordingly. And hopefully we can all have an enjoyable fall and continue to enjoy our ponds as the weather cools off. We'll see you very soon. Thanks for joining me today. Take care.